Hello everyone. I thought I'd give you an update on where I am at the moment. I haven't been on for a little while. I've got way too many beetles that I can deal with at the moment, so I'll show you what I've done with my setup. So most of the space being taken up is by beetles. Since it's been getting cooler here in Australia, we've sort of jumped from summer to winter without, autumn in the middle, temperature-wise. Anyway, so it's got quite cold and these guys have been lifeless in the morning, so I set up the heaters yesterday and you can see the difference with the activity at the moment. There was virtually no movement yesterday morning, and these guys are all crowding in this one spot because I need to order more heaters. So these two bins here are actually sharing one heater. So I'll show you that heater in a moment. So these are my big guys. These are the biggest ones that I have. I've been keeping the pupa separate so I can keep the beetles separate. So I've got all the big guys here, and of course they're all at the heat end as well. So these guys are quite a good size. Yeah, so I've preferred to keep them separate. There are bigger beetles in the other trays, but the majority of them are a lot smaller than these guys. So yeah, the other trays do have some big beetles, but this is where I mainly keep the big guys. So I can I want to do a study to see if the big beetles create big worms and so on. So it's just something for me to try. But up this end is no heat. Once I get the full heat mat in, there will be. So yeah, that's where all the congregation is, down this end. So that's those two trays. So yeah, I haven't counted them. There's no way I'm going to count them. There's just way too many to count. So that's those two trays. Over here, I converted an old pantry, which is not very old to say. It's only a couple of years old. So I've turned that into a beetle bin, basically. Down here, these trays have all got heat now. Because I need to order more more heaters. You'll see why, because this is only a 7-watt little tiny thing in there. These guys need a heat source for themselves. They don't have one at the moment. They will go into a bigger tray once I've got some more heaters. So they're in the middle of everything in here, and they're keeping quite well. It's quite nice in here. The temperature at the moment is, there we go, don't take notice of the time or date or anything like that. Humidity is 53%, 18.1 degrees in here, so they're in a really good spot. So these guys will get their own bigger tray, bigger tub, and their own heat source once I've ordered the new heat pads. The thing is, with the heat pads, you don't actually have the tray sitting on them directly. There is a lip under the tray, so it sort of breaks up so the beetles aren't sitting directly on the heat. So there's the next tray up. They have, I think they've got a different heat pad. This is one that I actually bought for the birds, but it's got a thermostat, so it's regulating the temperature in there. The substrate's not very deep, so the probe is actually being exposed. But that's telling me at the moment it's 25 degrees. It's upside down there. That's 25 degrees Celsius. So yeah, these guys are going alright. They're happy with their heat. They're moving quite well compared to what they were yesterday. There was virtually no movement, so I'm really happy that they've reacted really good to the heat. So you can see there's just lots and lots and lots of them. So that's those guys, and the same again up here. Beetles everywhere. You can see, yeah. Well, I'm running out of space. The reason I've got so many beetles is because I've been waiting on wildlife centres to get in touch with me about when and where they would like to get mealworms, but because they haven't contacted me back in time, well, everything's just progress from there. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's my heat cupboard. See this mat here? This is the full mat that I'm talking about. The one back over there is facing the other way around, but if you can see that and just think of it as upside down, it's a seedling heat mat, so it's used to propagate seedlings. It is 17.5 watts. So, yeah, this little guy down under here, that little tiny green rectangle, is only 7. So the 18 watt is good. You can see the lip between the heat pad there, and that stops direct contact with the beetles themselves. They're not actually sitting directly on the heat is coming up from underneath, and yeah, so they're not actually touching the heat pad. So they're quite happy in their little cupboard space. I'm really pleased with how well they're doing. So it's not closed completely. I will be actually drilling holes in the side up here and here to run the power cords through, but they still need that door ventilation. There will be ventilation in there. So this is I'll show you the worms that I've got left. Not many, but I've got a lot coming on. So this tray here, they're good size, coming along. Very happy with their progress. So most of these trays have the same size mealworms in them. So yeah, I'm not putting any heat with the mealworms. I don't need them to progress. I don't need them to grow faster because I've already got enough as it is, and I don't want more beetles as a result. So so they will stay. They'll be sort of semi-cold storage, because yeah, I don't need to hurry them along. These guys are eating so fast. I mean, within 2 days I've got to sift out the frass because it's just it's just prolific with their eating. Some trays don't have as many as others in them. And over here, this is where my big beetles are coming from. There's one there. He's not too bad, he's not huge. But this is where my the larger beetles are coming from this tray here. There's 2 there. I actually have the big beetle larva, a pupa, separate from the rest. And I'll show you those in a moment. And I'll also show you my largest beetle versus my smallest beetle pupa. Quite different in size. I'll show you that right at the end. So, yep, once again, they're going alright. They're happy in their semi-cold storage, just not being heated, just being left to manage on their own. This one here is also, I did have an experiment going. See where I've got here, do not remove pupa? Well, I've changed that now, but I just did a little testing for myself to see if the pupa and the result in the beetle were any different to separating the pupa and the conditions that they come out at the other end, and it didn't make any difference. I still had some that weren't quite right in both ways. So if I had, you know, I had the same results basically. Some weren't as good as others. The majority were okay, so didn't make any difference to that little experiment. But I also did another experiment I've mentioned in previous videos about, I think I just showed you that tray, about worms being stored in the fridge and how they affected at the other end. Well, I found that those worms that were kept in the fridge, and when they do pupate out, they actually dried out a lot. A lot did dry out. So it wasn't a very positive result at the end. So I proved to myself that cold storage is no good if you want to hatch out pupa into mealworms, because it just does wreck them. So yeah, I tried that one out for myself. So 1, 2, 3, 4 trays of eggs over there, and down here I also have one tray there as well. This is earlier tray of eggs and microworms possibly here. I can show you. I don't know how close I can get them. Well, there's a little tiny weeny one right there near my thumb. So yeah, I've got quite a few babies coming along. I'll pop that down on the floor so it doesn't drop. See if I can find some somewhere else. What about, oh, here we go. Here we go. You can see how small they are. So yeah, they came in the 25th, 21st and 25th. So there's two lots of eggs in there, two different dates, but yeah, so there will be different sizes and some still beginning to hatch. Oh, that's just reusable stuff. These are the last of the bigger worms as well. They're just sitting. They're getting ready to pupate. I'm not concerned about them. There's a guy there. It's in the process of pupating right now. Same here. So yep, they're just quietly working away. Here I have my main tray of pupa and some new hatchlings. So I'll pop this up top for a moment so don't drop anything. So yeah, these new guys have come out from last night, overnight. So I'll get them out in a moment. The numbers are slowly going down, but yeah, as you can see, I've still got a lot of pupa. But with the colder weather, the worms will slow down pupating now, so I'm happy with that. But yeah, so that's the class is the normal sized pupas. Put that back in there. And these are the bigger guys from that tray I said where my big beetles are coming from. There's one just here. So there's not many left in there, but as they pupate I'll pop them in this tray as well as the one above. Now I mentioned about my smallest pupa versus my biggest pupa. I'll show you that now. I've kept them separate so I can keep an eye on the little guy because he's so small. I'd lose him amongst everything. So here's the big guy, and here's the little guy at the tip of a pen. There you go. This guy here, he's close to an inch. This one, I think it was about an inch long. This one is a centimetre. Can't measure it on this piece of paper, but so yeah, this guy will hatch up before the little guy, but I'm keeping them in a cup together for the moment, and so I can hatch out this little guy, so I can show you exactly how small he is. I will actually try and put him on my hand. It's a bit difficult because I've got the camera in one hand. I don't want to lose him, I don't want to damage him. Here we go. He's puny. So yeah, he's still alive. Do the tickle test. There we go. That's what I call it, the tickle test. Don't want to say it back to front though. So, so that's where I'm at the moment. I've been keeping record of numbers of the beetles that are hatching out. These are my numbers from the 28th of March. So you can see 163, 145, 55, 127. So I've been keeping a tally of each day's hatching. That's yesterday, so I haven't counted any today. So you see there's quite a lot in there at the moment. They're all going into that tray in the cupboard, the orange tray that needs a bigger tray tub. So over here, yeah, I've just been tallying them up as they. So these numbers here, 163, over here. This one here is the new pupa that I'm taking from the mealworm trays and putting into these trays here. Just so I can keep tally of those that way. I don't count them as they come out the other end. I'm just counting them as they go in. So, and I've had a very, very, very low mortality rate. So like 2% aren't coming out the other end. So it's doing really well. So, yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. So, any comments, questions, let me know, and yeah, let me know where your mealworms are at, and yeah, we'll catch up soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.